Right now at the live desk, Judgment Day for the men behind the hoax which shut down Boston. They sparked fears of terrorism. The marketing executives promoting Aqua Teen Hunger Force on Cartoon Network. Now the city of Boston wants them to pay, but who else is responsible? What was Turner Broadcasting's role in the whole thing? Live reports from the scene and expert analysis coming up on the live desk. Now, here's Martha.
Let's get you right to the top story today. As we've been telling you, 2 suspects were arraigned today in Boston. They just held a rather interesting news conference. It was quite strange, in fact. Let's take a listen.
I think my dreadlocks are pretty nice, and they're going to keep growing for a little while. Maybe they'll reach my knees or something. I don't know what.
I'm getting sort of more due to get a haircut because getting my bangs now.
I've advised them not to talk about what happened.
How do you feel right now?
I feel like my hair is pretty perfect, but altogether I want to redirect this onto the topic of haircuts in the 70s because I want to educate myself about it a little bit more than I know already.
We saw them like in court. We've seen their appearance now.
What other haircuts are there?
Prosecutors
there's the 60s.
Yeah, I really like the one where the hair sort of curls around to the front.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They've taken the case very seriously. As I said, they've been advised not to speak about the case.
Have they been advised to act like they're not taking this seriously?
We're taking this very seriously. We've already done this.
What was it like to spend when there was a widespread panic and disruption to commuters yesterday, and a cost of nearly $1 million to Boston?
Yeah, I really feel like we're not getting the feedback that we need.
We're not getting the feedback that we need from you guys. If you really want to talk to us, please talk to us about the topic.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
What was it like to spend last night in jail?
That's not a hair question. I'm sorry.
What are you disappointed about? People want to apologize?
That's also not a hair question.
Left alone in court today because Turner didn't bring anyone?
That's also not a hair question.
Mr. Rich, are you embarrassed by your client's behavior?
My client is a performance artist, and
So are we being subject to a performance right now, Mr. Rich?
that's your call.
Are you afraid that if you go to prison, you'll get your hair cut?
That's a very good question. I think the laws in this country are still pretty comfy as to that. I think they will. Whatever happens, I feel like my hair is safe at the moment. So, any other hair questions are definitely welcome.
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
Do you worry that any sympathy for overreaction that people might have is being wasted right now? People might be sympathetic thinking the authorities overreacted and you're treating this like a joke. Is there any worry that you'll
seriously,
waste that sympathy?
What I'm wondering right now is whether or not the Beatles' hairstyle, did it actually go into the 70s or was it all stuck in the 60s? Did it abruptly end? And when did the hippie blonde hairstyle come to be?
And what was with this mohawk and these huge 80s hair with
the
all
80s
of the hair gel?
was such an overreaction.
How did that come from the 70s? Was that some sort of overcompensation from the fact that people were like living fast and loose?
Mr. Rich, you got to understand, your clients aren't generating much sympathy with either the press or the public with their attitude.
And they might have had it before now, and who knows?
The sympathy will come from what really happened and who these people are.
The fact is, it cost the city, according to Boston, over $1 million to respond to these incidents yesterday. And now we're playing it up with hair questions and jokes. There is a serious element to what happened yesterday.
And if you don't like what you're seeing here, why don't you leave the guys alone?
All right, if you don't like what you're seeing there, leave the guys alone. The attorney's standing by his 2 clients pretty supportively, although he looked a little bit bemused at times. Molly Line, you were there on the scene. What was this strange event like?
Well, it's pretty clear there. You can see very much what it was like. They came out of the court surrounded by the press with some of their supporters behind them and talked about hair in the 70s, and they refused to talk about anything else. I guess it was a more interesting way to go about a press conference than saying no comment.
So, Molly, what's likely to be the next part of the process here, in terms of any jail time that might be levied at them? How are they going to be defended?
Well, they will be coming back to court. We're expecting another court appearance in the near future. And their attorney speaking with me today. The attorney, by the way, is a very close family friend. One of the defendants actually has lived with him for many years, although moved out recently. And he was saying last night that he barely got any sleep as this goes forward. So it's still in the very early stages. And I think one of the most interesting elements of this is that even the prosecution said that these two gentlemen were essentially the small fish in this case, and that they had plans to go forward and go after the Cartoon Network and where this all began as a marketing plot.
Yeah, that's a good point. And where do they think it will lead them in terms of what their next move will be with the Cartoon Network or their parent company?
Well, it's interesting. Interface Incorporated is the company that essentially sent these guys out, told them to hang the signs. The defense attorney saying that they were actually told to put them on bridges and overpasses and places where people would actually be able to see them. And Interface has apparently told the two gentlemen not to talk to the press, but to cooperate with authorities. And it appears that they actually are, especially when you see that they helped them find these 38 different devices that were put up throughout town. I think there's a certain element here that these gentlemen think never expected this to happen, and that the whole situation might be ridiculous from their perspective, hence this rather bizarre press conference.
All right, Molly, thank you very much. Molly Lyon reporting from Boston on this. We have continuing coverage now of this top story for us. John